hold these door hinges on. It's got two brackets. We're going to go through the door through these two holes here. You come up underneath. Your bracket's going to attach to them, and the bolts are going to run right through. Hold those brackets on. So that's what's going to keep these on detached to the door. I'm going to go by the lettering on the door handle here. See, eject, and just the way that reads, this is going to be the inside, and if it's on the inside, this part, it's going to be the inside passenger side door, which we already have off the Jeep ahead of time. That means that I'm going to lay it so the handle is facing down, and these hinges are going to sit on this side. So you can kind of see that these bump up, and that means this is the outside. Is when these bump out, that's going to be the outside. Stop for a second. So things you'll need: ratchet, 6mm, which is going to be for the bolts. And then just something that I do is anytime you get any part, I try to clean it out in some form or fashion. Kind of can see the difference. I cleaned out one of these, I didn't clean out the other, is they got just machining metal and crud in them. Do some pipe cleaners, bend them in half, and just give it a few twists in there. Kind of see some of the brown go, and tap it out. Do that a few times just to help clean those threads out. That way you don't accidentally cross thread anything when you go to put it in. And then I like to actually run these in just to make sure they thread all the way in, so I know ahead of time if I have an issue. That way I don't get frustrated and find out down the road I have a problem. So take this, run it up through the inside, put on our bracket, these brackets, because this is the outside of the door. The arrow and the little T50 is going to face down or towards me how I'm standing. Run these in, kind of just hand tight a little bit. You don't want to over tighten these down because these are going to be one of the points that you adjust once you actually put them on the Jeep to make sure the door sits nice and level with your latch. So on any of these doors you have a few points of adjustment. You have these actual hinges where you can loosen them, and you got a little bit of wiggle room. And then you have down here these bolts that hold in, on this side, that hold in the actual locking mechanism itself. So those are going to be our adjustment points once we actually put the door on to make sure it sits. Is the top and the bottom of these two. So your top bracket is going to have the longer bolt, and then the shorter one. That way, these is the newer design with the Jeep doors. So when you put them in, the longer one kind of guides it in, and the shorter one falls right in on the bottom. So when you're putting these on, your longer one goes up top. And come up from underneath. Put a bracket on here. Tight these on. ready to start positioning it on the Jeep. Good. Again, when you put it on, that top bolt goes in first, and then kind of makes it easy so that bottom one slides right in. And you can see I got a little bit of play in these because we only hand tightened them down. So what I want to first do is see if I can find where this door actually might, as it's preset, it might sit just perfect with it. So when I got that held up, this looks like it's going to fit perfect. You never want to adjust these. You want to make all your adjustments on the door. First thing to do is hold this up, and then I'll tighten these down a little bit more. They're nice and tight. Go back and we'll work on the door. So I use a little handset for it. This comes up as a 4 with a size wrench that fits these bolts. I'm holding on to the nut on the inside, tightening the top, one down. Easier. I went and I got my ratchet set. I got a 12 fits on all of these. It kind of makes it easier to have it on there to tighten these down. Just having a hard time getting the Allen key in on this side with the door lock, so if I use the 12 on this side, I can get them. And I'm just hand tightening them right now because I want to be able to go back and readjust these if I have to. So let's give it a shot. See how this shuts. So we got a little shimmy, a little shake, which we can adjust out using these nuts. But that's how you put them on. You tie it down to open your door up, pull the eject handle, and it pops right off. One last piece is they come with these retention straps. If you don't put the retention strap on, that door's just going to fly open, it's going to hit stuff. Retention straps look like it just kind of loops over and can loop. I don't want to loop this just over. I think I actually want to run it through and pull it through. That way it's on there nice and tight, so I know that's not just going to come off. Then you attach that to your tie down point right inside of the inside the Jeep. And that is your limiter strap, is what that's called, and that keeps it from over opening. There you go. Installed. So one last thing, once you get your door locks set and your door bolts all nice and tight, you may have a little rattle. That's okay. Take the door off. You got this little rubber piece on it with a small nut. Run that out and try it a few times. So once you run this out a few times, you can keep this nut loose. Close your door, and then you can see how that contacts. Give it a wiggle. I don't got any wiggle, so I'm just going to run that nut until it's hand tight. Then take the doors off, and then just tighten this down to set my rubber stopper. And now, no more shimmy.